Hey, what's up guys, Wintergore here and welcome to another episode of Titanfall Tips. Today's episode is all about the act of rodeoing. Rodeoing is where you jump onto the shoulder of either an enemy or a friendly Titan. If it's an enemy Titan, you'll be able to take them down very quickly compared to attacking them with an anti-Titan weapon. The reason for this is because when you attack them in rodeo, you've opened up a hatch on the back of the Titan and it allows you to expose their weak point and completely bypass their shield, so you'll do direct damage to their armor. Today's commentary will look at what to do if you're a Titan and there's an enemy pilot on top of you, as well as the best weapons and attachments to use if you're a pilot and your aim is to take down as many Titans as possible. Now the first thing we'll look at is the Titans and what you can do if there's an enemy player on top of you. The first thing you actually want to do is to be able to identify quickly whether it is an enemy or a friendly pilot on top of you. To do this, as soon as you hear footsteps on top of your Titan, you want to look at the minimap to see if it's a friendly player, and if there's no icon there, then you can reasonably assume that it's going to be an enemy player. The reason I say to check for this is because this comes up much quicker than the actual in-game notifications do, so you'll be able to catch the enemy pilot off guard that's rodeoing you, and hopefully use one of the following methods to kill him while he's still in the animation of climbing onto you. Now when you call in your Titan and it drops, it deploys a shield, which deals damage to anybody stuck inside of it and also protects your Titan from damage from the outside. The benefit to using this to your advantage is if a player jumps on top of you and you stay inside your shield, you will most likely kill them or force them off the top of your Titan. Once you've got this enemy player off your Titan, put some distance between you and them by using a dash, and then just pick them off with your primary weapon. The next method is to use the electrical smoke. Similar to the shield, this will sap anyone's health that's caught in the smoke, but it has a much larger effective radius. You can crouch in the smoke, and this will force the player to spend more time in it while they're trying to jump off, and it'll increase the likelihood that they'll get killed while doing so. You can also use cluster missiles to get the same effect, however it will deal damage to your own Titan, so you should always bear this in mind because the last thing you'd want to do is to deal the same amount of damage that that player would have to you anyway. So the next thing you can do is to rely on a teammate. I always move around with another friend so that we always have each other's backs, and quite often when a player jumps on top of me, while I hear the footsteps I will immediately say someone's on top of me, and my teammate will immediately punch them off or shoot them off if they can see me from across the map. What you need to do on this is to stand still. The worst thing you want to do is to try and run around and panic, which you see a lot of beginning players do, which makes it super hard for anybody on your team that's actually seen them to shoot them off. Try and stand still, turn around so that your teammate has a really easy shot and just allow him to shoot them off, and it'll be gone before he manages to damage you considerably. Another method that you can try, but I wouldn't suggest, is to pretend that you've got out of your Titan. This is where you look down at the ground and crouch, and if the player is a beginner, often they will jump straight off you because they think you've got out. However, also worth noting, if a beginner player happens to notice you go down, they might not even think anything of it and they'll keep shooting at you. So for this reason, I wouldn't suggest this method because a lot of people do know about it and only jump off you when they actually hear the audio trigger for the hatch opening. If you don't have any countermeasures available, you can always try exit kicking. This is the act of getting out of your Titan, double jumping backwards and kicking the enemy player off your Titan, all in one fluid move. This method will take a lot of practice to perfect because there are different Titan chassis, which you have to get used to, and also just the act of doing it itself is very hard to pull off in a match. The next method, which I found on the Titanfall subreddit, is to place arc mines on the back of your Titan, which will detonate when an enemy player jumps on top of you, killing them. I wouldn't advise using this method in any of the objective game types, for example domination or capture the flag, because the arc mines will be more useful on the ground where they will kill players trying to get to the objectives. The next method is the act of ejecting prematurely. All jokes aside, this is quite useful if you want to make sure that the enemy pilot gets thrown into the air with you, because a lot of pilots will jump off your Titan as soon as they doom it and leave it to die. This opens up the opportunity for you to kill them while they're in the air to get a little bit of revenge after they've doomed your Titan.
Oh, I'm hammering it with my anti-Titan weapon.
Punch him off the edge.
Machine.
You got out.
I can't punch him off.
Someone's on me,
shit,
someone's on me.
Firing rockets. Oh shit, wait. You just jump off the edge of them?
Yeah, with him.
If your Titan's going to die anyway and you happen to be near a cliff, you can do what I did and dash straight off the cliff with that enemy pilot rodeoing you. Don't bother ejecting because otherwise you'd throw yourself both up into the air, and just allow your Titan to fall to its death. This will kill both of you in the fall. I don't think it rewards either player with any points, but it's also quite funny to see the enemy pilot's reaction because this is probably the last thing that they'd expect. Now we'll move on to what you can do as a pilot to get the maximum amount of damage to an enemy Titan. When you're approaching an enemy Titan, make sure to approach it from the sides, the back or the top, because if you do approach it from the front and it's an auto Titan, it will lock onto you and shoot you. Worth noting, if you're going for an auto Titan, when you jump on top of them, most likely they will crouch down to the ground, which identifies to every player on the enemy team that there's somebody on top of that Titan, because this is the only time that they'll ever crouch down other than when they actually let their pilot into them. The best weapons to use to take down enemy Titans are weapons with a high rate of fire, such as carbines or SMGs. You can use these in conjunction with C4 and the more explosives perk to ensure that you deal a hell of a lot of damage, because you can plant 3 pieces of C4 on an enemy Titan's weak spot and detonate it after you jump off. If the enemy player tries to exit his Titan, you can detonate the C4 then and it will most likely kill him, because the Titan leans forward, exposing him to the blast radius of the C4. The best anti-Titan weapon for riding on a Titan is the charge rifle. The reason for this is it doesn't have any splash damage, so you won't kill yourself. So compared to the other anti-Titan weapons, which all have explosive radiuses, you will be able to fire it directly into the Titan's weak spot and deal a hell of a lot of damage to it, and you won't kill yourself. That's it for this episode, guys. If you want to see more from me, you can check out my previous Titanfall tips episode, which goes into detail on how to get easy Titan drop kills, the act of landing your Titan on top of an enemy Titan. And if you have any further comments or questions, you can leave them down in the description below. Also, make sure to like and subscribe if you really enjoyed the episode, and share it with any friends that you feel could benefit from watching it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys next time.